Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast, My Journey with Autism. Episode 2. I have my first one out right now. Go check it out. Like, comment, share. I would highly appreciate it. This episode, I will be talking about how I got diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis. Big word. Trust me, it was hard for me to say it first, too. So if you don't know what that is, I will tell you more after I will tell you my story with it. So I was with my partner at the time, soon to be husband. We, first, when you first meet somebody, you're, kind of really want to, do things with them. I would say, we were very intimate at the time. So we, did that for about 3 nights. And, it was fun. Young people, it's fun. And I noticed after we did that, I was in quite a bit of pain. And normally when it happens, this pain, I'm like, oh, it will be gone within a few hours. So I, waited it out. Okay, it'll be gone. It never went away. So it progressed to get worse and never it didn't go away. So I was like, okay, what's going on? And I just went with it, just like, okay, well, whatever. It's pain. And it continued on and on, try to do stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? We need to try to figure this out. Talk to my mom about it. And I was telling her, okay, Mom, it hurts when I'm intimate. It hurts when I do things. It doesn't feel good. It's like this pain, this bloating, pressure. It's like having your period all month long, but no period. And she's like, oh, okay, we'll go to the doctor, see what it is. And explain to them, be, really descriptive of what it is. And of course, I am pretty descriptive. I'm very in tune with my body. So I give them a lot of information. And so they're like, okay, well, this one doctor I went to locally where I live, she's like, okay, it might be a bruised cervix. I'm like, okay, well, okay. So what's to see? But okay, I tell my mom, okay. And it could take a while to heal. So I'm like, okay. Well, it didn't. It never healed. It got worse. And it started to drive me nuts. So I went to another doctor where I am locally, and they're like, okay. And I tell her what's going on, and she's like, okay. So I had that appointment. She saw a little something on my picture that I had a surgery before, and she's like, okay, well, I can refer you to a specialist. And I'm like, great, great. I would love to go. I want to get this figured out. And it was in Post Falls, this place we had to go, and a few minutes away or hour and a half or whatever from where I live. And so I go to the specialist, and I tell her, you know what, this is what's going on. And I told her every detail, and she's like, okay, well, I feel better if we go in and check it out, like surgically. I'm like, great. So I felt really happy because I was going around really scared, not knowing what this was. I even ended up in the emergency room, and they didn't really help. They thought it was a bladder infection. I was correct. It was not. I already had a bladder infection, and it was not it. I knew deep down it wasn't. So anyway, back to going to the specialist. I scheduled a surgery to see what it was. It's not certain until they go in surgically. Well, they scheduled me the 31st of the end of the month, and sure enough, my mom said, you were correct. You had stage 4 endometriosis, the worst you can have it. And I was like, wow, I had no idea. And they said, well, also you could possibly down the road have a bowel resection surgery because you had it so bad. And I'm like, ooh, okay. So, I recovered from that one, and I had it, just to tell you what, I had it so bad. So, I recovered from that. It was a scrape and what they do. Then I started not to feel good again after a few months. And I'm like, okay, but I think it's back because I knew what it felt like. Sure enough, it was back. I told my specialist, and she's like, okay, we're going to schedule you a hysterectomy. My mom was saying you probably will have that. And I'm like, okay, let's get it done. I don't feel well. I feel horrible. So I had a partial hysterectomy. And I tell you what, I am, in my 20s. I am very young going through this. I also had to go through with that surgery a colonoscopy. And that procedure, I couldn't eat for 2 days. Tell you what, that was the worst 2 days of my life. Not fun, but I had to do it. Um, so I had a partial hysterectomy a year ago, and that was really hard to go through because I am very young, and it was hard. So anyway, recently I started not to feel good again, and here's a year later, a year and a few months later, started feeling really bad again. Just like, okay, it has to be it again. Went to the specialist. They were, kind of iffy about going back in. Went back in, and sure enough, I had it again. It was around my bladder. So it's been an emotional and long road going through this. They don't know why women get it. It's just women get it. It could be in your family, like it could be passed down from your mom to if she has obviously daughters. The daughters could get it. I had this. I don't know for how long. Let's just say some of the warning signs are bloating, sometimes diarrhea, constipation, hurting while you use the bathroom, pee, or defecating, um, and are also starting your period very young as a woman. And I did. I started pretty young, um, and really heavy, having really bad menstrual cycles. And I really did. Me and my sister did. And my sister, after my first scrape and my first one, she's like, okay, well, how I should get myself checked out. She did. She had stage 2 endometriosis. So I was like, wow, I kind of like saved my sister not having it so bad as I did. And growing up, even I wanted kids, but after a while, knowing my diagnosis as being on the spectrum, I knew I couldn't handle them because you have to have that higher brain level of thinking and stuff. So I knew it wasn't the correct way for me to have kids. But once I met my future husband, I really did actually want kids because I knew he really was caring and cared about me and would be a great dad. But unfortunately, I already had a procedure that I could get reversed, but we decided not to do that. It would probably be the best not to have kids. He has struggles too, along as I. So and now I can't have kids, and I am okay with that, but also get jealous because I do not have some of my women parts that can have a kid. Um, so I'm kind of glad that I didn't really, my heart was set on having a kid because after having a hysterectomy, you can't have a kid. And so it's really hard. I'm very young going through this. And if you guys, I would strongly encourage any woman who is having pain and bloating and constant bloating and pain and irritability or just feeling really sick. You're not sick, but it could be endometriosis, like the warning signs, like I gave some of you guys. I A lot of people are not aware of this disease, or whatever medical issue, like I didn't for years. And it's really hard going through it. But as a woman, I would strongly encourage each and every one of you, younger females or older females, if you don't feel good, talk to your mom about it. Say, Mom, did you have this? My mom didn't, so we don't know where it came from in our family. but or talk to other women to, get more aware of this horrible, painful illness type of thing. I would say they don't know why women get it, but I would like to give my voice out there for people who want to find out if they have it or are going through it. It took me a while until I stood up and talked to people about it and be very vocal about it and be like, hey, this is what's going on in my body. I don't feel good. Please listen to me. Because as you may or may not know, people on the autism spectrum don't voice their opinion very well on how they feel and think and want things in their life. For me, I have really learned to do that because I had a very good coach. And now, as my coach is not here helping me now, I am very, like, stand up for myself. So have your doctors listen to you, voice what you want and how you feel. And hopefully they will listen to you because you don't want this to be as bad as I got it. It's horrible. So anyone who's listening, please comment, like, share, and ask me questions about this, how, more about it, more detail that I did not share. I really want you guys to get help and in a struggle. So I would encourage everyone, every single one of a woman. But you know what? Women go through a lot in life, but it only makes us stronger as women to go through this. So I became a stronger woman going through a hard thing in my life. But I had a husband there, and he cared for me so incredibly much through this. He has saw me in pain, saw me in tears. He even go through tears with me, seeing that I did not feel good. And if you have a husband who cares about you and wants help for you, that's great. And if you have a mom, my mom really didn't believe me at the time, and that was so hard hearing that. She said, oh, well, maybe it's a fake thing. It's not. I know my body. I'm truthful to myself. I'm truthful about my feelings and what I want. So don't have someone tell you that you're lying or you're wrong. Listen to that person and try to help them. So again, this is my second podcast. If anyone has questions, please reach out. Thanks for listening.